Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the pre-market analysis and trade level setup for June 4th, Wednesday, 2014. My name is Doug McKay, and I'm the founder and head moderator for Quantum Leap. We've been having a private Skype room now for coming up on 5 years, and we come together and talk about the market and talk about trading. And each morning we come together in this live go-to, and I go through my morning market analysis and look at the macro to the micro, and then look at the structure, and then put my trade levels in and my targets and hypotheses for the day. If you're interested in finding out more about what we're doing, you can send me an email at d.mckay@stealthtrader.com. Everything will be, we're working on the website now, so the website is coming soon, I promise you. Or you can send me a contact request at Doug_McKay. I'll be the one from Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Quantum Leap is a self-organized learning environment. We are a private group. We're self-organized learning, just retail traders helping retail traders. Before I get going, I'll get the disclaimer out of the way. This information is for the purpose of educating members who want to expand the knowledge of the business of trading. It's not for trading or investment advice. You and only you are responsible for the trades or investment decisions made. Trading futures or any instrument involves risk of loss. Please consider carefully whether futures or options are appropriate to your financial situation. Only risk capital should be used when trading futures or options. Investors can lose more than an initial investment. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and any trades that you see in Quantum Leap is for education purposes only. Please do your own due diligence and do your own trade plan. Okay, we're going to start a little bit differently today because we got some news out of the gate, and we come down to 16. So let's go take a look at what news we have left for the day. So far we've had ADP non-farm employment change. That was at 8:15 Eastern, 7:15 Central. We got that first little push down to 17.25. Then we had Canadian trade balance and the trade balance, and that's what gave us a little bit of weakness. Everything came in weak. The numbers were bad. Of course, we had revised non-farm productivity and unit labor costs as well. And then we've got at 9:45 Eastern, 8:45 Central, we've got final services PMI, but the big one is going to be this 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, whereas we got the Bank of Canada overnight rate statement. So they're going to set the rate, see how that looks, but we also have ISM non-manufacturing PMI. So within the first 30 minutes of the market, we've got some heavy news. Let's go to our, what we do here is we go through a routine each morning, and I start with the macro to the micro. We look at the key numbers, then we look at the trends from the macro to the micro, and then we drill down to some more in-depth chart analysis and structure of the market, and then I set my levels up and targets for the day. So if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, you might want to skip the first few minutes until we get into where we're setting up the chart levels. But we do not change our routine. A routine is an important part of your trading and gets you prepared for your trading day. So looking at the market, of course, we're still in a bull market. We're above our open at 1837.75. We put in a new high the other day at 1924.25. This is still a Globex high. We did not put the all-time high and the year high in the RTH session. So to me, this is still a weak high. There's a couple other reasons why I think it's a weak high. We're getting a little bit of a retrace. We've just been parabolic as we're going to look on the trend. So we're getting a little bit of a rotation here. Nothing else really jumps out at me. We got the previous month high at 1922, but we're below that. So I mean, the big number is still the 1924.25, but we're coming into getting into the prior month range. Going into the intraday numbers, Yesterday we opened up the Globex session at 2150, had a high at 2175 and a low of 16, and we're coming down to test that low. Our RTH open was 18. We opened auction in range and we broke the IB to the upside and to the downside for a neutral day. So one of the things you got to look at is your statistical probabilities of seeing a neutral day following a neutral day. So my main hypothesis is to see a rotational day today with probably some downside bias if we stay below a key number, which is at the 1975 area. Our opening swing high is 19. Our opening swing low is 17 for a 2-point opening swing. And then our initial balance high 22.25, and our initial balance low 16.75 for a 5.5 point initial balance. Kind of mixed on the intraday numbers. We had a lower 1230 number at 21.75. That's the first lower 1230 number that we've had in 9 days. Same thing with the high. We had our first lower high in 9 days. 9 days? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days. Sorry. And but we did have a higher low at 1650 and a higher close at 22, but our VPOC shifted down to 21.75. And again, we're up in this distribution area around the CHV and 1920, 2050. As long as we hold above the 1350, I think we can get some more rotational because we've got some undetermined fair value up here. We'll take a look at that on the chart. You can see that this move, we've had a big move up and a breakout of balance, but the 20-day average true ranges have been compressing, and they continue compressing. I still think this leads to another big move that we don't know the direction yet, but we know it's coming because you don't see this type of compression and coiling without some type of reaction off of it. So our 20-day ATRs are now below 12 for the 20-day RTH, below 14 for the full session, and below 7. I haven't seen it this low in a while, so I'm expecting a big move in the near future. Whether it's today or this week, we don't know. We're going to trade what we see, but we can understand that we've got it coming. Our value area high 22.75, value area low 19.25 for 3.5 point value area. And you can see that the value areas as well have been compressing as well. And then we broke the IB first yesterday to the low side at 1042. Again, we've been giving some late breaks on the initial balance. And then volume was very late again yesterday, only less than 800,000. So we're doing all of this on very low volume. Now, when that volume steps in, you're going to see an explosion in one direction or another. All right, going over to the daily report, we already took a look at the news. Just look at the ATR targets, and of course I got to just take a quick look at. So I got to put a new one in. It's 16, so 1816. So our 20-day ATR targets to the upside is 1830, call it. It was 31, which I really like because that was that measured move from the rotational chart. But 1830 is right there as well. And then to the low side, we've got 1809.75. Remember, below 1350, the CLVN, we've got that distribution zone in around that 0908 area. So let's take a look at the macro to the micro. I always like to know where we are within the trends within the different time frames. You can see that we've got great slope and separation on the 9 EMA and the 20 SMA. The trend is intact on the monthly, although we're coming back inside of the range from the prior month now where we had broken out. Going to the weekly, weekly is the same thing. We've got good slope and separation. Got a bit of a technical gap right here on the weekly, so we could go do some sideways development or come down and close this technical gap. I think it's going to be a combination of both time and price. On the daily, you can see that we've got a nice parabolic move, a trend. We have a bit of a technical gap, and we're just basically going sideways now, and we're likely to close this gap out. I think the gap's going to get closed with a test of that 1350 area. Taking a look at the geometric chart, we've been riding the center line. There's forks on. I'm sorry. There's 3 forks on this. There's the long-term upward sloping fork. There's the mid-term upward sloping fork, and then the short-term upward sloping fork. I don't have any opposing forks because we broke out of the one that we were watching, and there's nowhere. I'd have to draw on a smaller time frame, and I really don't think it's relevant right now. What I'm watching right now is I'm watching this key center line right now at 1922. It's really 1922.50 I'm watching, and if we hold below that, move down. We had this energy point that was due yesterday. We didn't hit it, but if we come down and test the lower line today of the short time frame, it gives us a move down into that 1900, 1901 area. And if we get down below that 13, and we test the other side of the balance around 1909, that's going to take us down to that level. If we get above 22 and move up to test the upper line of that, is going to take us up to new highs at 1945. And this move down to test the lower line is going to come down, coming down and testing the center line of the midterm fork. But there's really not much more information we can glean from that particular geometric chart. So let's take a look at the intraday trends coming into this market. There's a pattern I want to show you on the 15-minute. Don't let me forget. We had this beautiful trend happening in the 4-hour. Then we created that technical gap, and we've just been going sideways. We closed the gap, and then we closed below the 9 and the 20, broke back above, and then we couldn't hold above, and we're currently trading below it. We have a MA hug going on right here at 1920. So we tested it from below, and we've come up and rejected it so far. We are at a decision point right here. So right now, even though we don't have any trend, we've got a little bit of a downward pressure on the 4-hour. Going on to the 30-minute, you can see we're starting a trend down on the 30-minute, and we've created this technical gap right here. We closed the gap up against the 9 and the 20, rejected it, came up and tried to break above, failed, and on the news we broke below it, and we went all the way down to that 1960, and we're getting the beginning of a trend coming in on the 30-minute. It's the 15-minute I wanted to show you, because this is a good example of 2 technical gaps against naked crosses. So you had a naked cross right here. So the 9 EMA crossed the 20 SMA and created this naked cross. This is a proprietary study that I developed. And then we went up and we created this technical gap. And then we came down and closed the technical gap and broke down and came down and closed that naked cross that we created. Then we broke down further and created a really nice technical gap right here and left the naked cross above us. And what did we do? We closed that we closed the technical gap, went up, and hit the naked cross to the tick. So watch your naked crosses on the 5, the 15, and the 30 minutes. They will give you targets to look for, and of course you can always trade one of my favorite patterns, which is this technical gap. And right now on the 5-minute, we've got slope and separation, coming into the RTH, and we've created a bit of a technical gap, possibly even a FUBAR. It won't be a FUBAR tech gap, Mr. Sneaky, because we've got a double top right here on this candle. But we do have a technical gap here. Well, actually, we did have a Mr. Sneaky right here. And then the FUBAR, we actually had a FUBAR, Mr. Sneaky FUBAR, and coming up to close this technical gap. And the gap close will take us up to 1850 to close it out. Let's take a look at the big picture on the composite. So I won't get into the nitty-gritty, but we broke out of this balance, and the most important price down below us is this 1865.25. It's the long-term microcomposite balance that we broke out of. It's also the composite VPOC going back to, or the most traded price going back to 2013, October 9th. But then we broke out of that, and then we, accepted value in around this 1908 area. You got a microcomposite at 1908, and then a CHVN at 1909.25. And of course, this has been done on low volume, this whole move up, and we've got a lot of undetermined fair value. Okay, we've got in this upper distribution zone that we have within the 3-day microcomposite with a microcomposite VPOC up here at 2175. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different undetermined or CHVNs, what I call undetermined fair value. You've got 2175, 2050, 1850, 1750, and 16.25. So you've got a lot of undetermined fair value. It's going to be choppy in this area today for a couple different reasons. But the key levels that you want to watch, the key line in the sand right now for me is this 1350. Because below this 1350, I'm looking for a very strong rotation down, into this value area of where we held value prior. And we have these wicks down here that we can come down into this lower distribution, get stuck in the wicks, and repair the auction down here. And again, this is another area that is not properly auctioned and has undetermined fair value between 1175, 9.25, 775, and 650. But the key, the major, trade area today is going to be this 1350. Now, I will trade off of the 1650 because we just went down and made another lower low and a Globex low at 16. So we're likely to go down and test this if we can't get above this 1975. And there's the LVN, and we'll get into that. But this 1975 is also the LVN from the distribution from yesterday's profile. So these are the two numbers that I'm going to be looking at on the trade off of the open. But you want to be careful in between because there's you've got 1875 and 1750 with the value area low of the micro composite here at 18.25. So you really don't want to trade in this area. You want to wait for a break above 1975 to get long into that 2075 with a continuation towards the most accepted price within this balance zone up at 2175 and a test of that 2275, 2250 area, which is what I think if we break above that, we'll go and we'll take out that Globex all-time high at 1924.25. We came up and tested it. We just didn't take it out yet. And then I think we're going to move with a breakout up into that 1931. So let's take a look at our overnight and start setting up our trade levels. So our overnight high so far is 2350. Our overnight low is 16. And our current VPOC, which could shift, so we've got to watch this. It's currently right now at 1975, but it could shift depending on how much more we trade in this 18.25, 1850 ever. But I'm going to put it in at 1975 right now. And Howard, if you could just watch to make sure that it doesn't shift on me. Okay, so we got this. We don't need this right now. All right, so right now, as it stands, we're going to be opening up in this distribution above 1650 and right near the microcomposite value area low. But we're going to be opening up outside of value. Our value area low for yesterday is 19.25. So we're going to be opening up in range, but outside of value. So I think it's going to be choppy in here. And of course, what I'm watching is the value area low, but more importantly, we had a double distribution day yesterday. And the LVN between that double distribution is right at the midpoint at 1975, which is also this CLVN against the composite, and a microcomposite LVN as well. So that's my, dividing line for my longs. Anything below 1975, you want to be looking to sell. Okay, so you sell the rallies. Okay, don't buy the dips right here. Above 1975, then I think you can get long in towards that 2075 and 21 area, or 2175 is our microcomposite VPOC. It's also the naked VPOC from yesterday. With our naked close, we closed at 22. And I think once we get inside this upper distribution, then you're going to get an 80% value area play, and we'll rotate up and test this 2275 in 2250 area. And then a break above that, then I'd be looking for a move to take out the range high and the overnight high, and that range high from the prior day, but more importantly is the all-time high. So my main target above range is only a couple ticks above it, but it's an important number at 1924. It's 24.50 or 24.25. Sorry, got a little bit of a brain fart going on here. It is 24.25. I was right. Okay, so we have a target up there, and then we have nothing really above us to gauge except for my measured move up to 1931, and that's going to be my main target above range and above the all-time previous high if we take it out. But let's take a look at the levels. So 1975 for me is going to be a major trade area. Now, here's the problem with this 1975 is you can't short the 75. You have to wait to get below the value area low at 19.25. So on the short side, you got to get short below 19.25. So if we come up and test this value area, low, watch for a push through to see if they test the 1975 area. And then if they reject that, wait for them to break below the 19.25 again, and then get short. And you want to get funded, before you get to the 1775. So you want to scale quickly. If we get above the 19.25 value area low, you want to wait till we actually break the LVN and the CLVN and the microcomposite LVN to get long, and you want to get funded before we get to 2175. And once we're in this upper distribution, I think we take out the naked VPOC, the naked close, and test the value area high. The value area high will be my next trade area, because if we, I'll be looking for responsive buyers to step in there and hold us inside of value. But if we break outside of value, then we go and take out the range high at 23 and take out the overnight high at 23.50. Remember, we got 96% probability of taking out the overnight high or the overnight low. I think it's going to be the overnight low, but I don't know. We'll wait to see. But this move back into the upper distribution is going to be a good clue. And then, of course, I don't think we just take out the overnight high. I think we take out the range high from the other day and take out that all-time high at 24, and we get a continuation move. That's not my main hypothesis. That's my secondary hypothesis. My main hypothesis is that we could break through the 1975 and find responsive buyers right here at this 2175. But if we reject 1975, I think we chop around in this area. I think we're going to get a rotational day with a downside bias to break the range low at 1650 and take out the overnight low and go down and test. Now it's 1350, but I'm watching this 1450 as my first target and my first trade area that I'd be looking to accelerate against, because if we don't hold at the 1450, then I would actually add into this, okay, to go down to test the 1350, but it's really the target down here at 1912 that I'll be watching. And there's really nothing to hold us up until we get to this 1050. This 1050 is just above the value area high of where we accepted value around that 1908 and the CHVN at 1909.50. So that would be the first area. It's not going to be a target today. It's going to be a trade area. And I'm going to use 1910.50. And then below that, the big number is this 1909 and a quarter, but I really think we'll see the 1908. So I'm going to use 1908 as my target below there. Come on, go in. Don't want to edit the button. I want to put it in there. I don't know why this has been doing this lately. Okay, 1908. And then the other side of balance around 1908, you've got the value area low at 1906. And then there's really nothing below us until we get all the way down to that 1903 area. So 1903 is not going to be a target. I forgot to take these off my chart. It's going to be a trade area. Trade areas are targets, but they're also areas where you can accelerate a trade. And then you've got 1900, and this is not going to be applicable here.
Hey Doug, are you showing the VPOC at, see, where is your VPOC? 2125?
2175.
21, yeah, okay. No problem.
Okay. So, and I don't think we get much down there, but if we do get it, if we do get below 13, which is, if we hold 13 and we just chop around in this area above 13, I'm just looking for rotation and a possibility of getting stuck in these wicks right here. Let me just move this to the back. Stuck in these wicks right here. But if we break 1350, I'm looking for a rotational day as we chop around around this 1909, 1908 area. But the key level for this is going to be this 1975, and then I'm going to use the 1650 area. I'm actually going to use 1675 because it's 1675, which was the IB low, and then I'll look for a breakout of range below that. And the reason I'm going to use 1675 versus 1650 is because I'll be looking for them to take out the overnight low. If they come down here and test this this range low, they're going to take out the overnight low and a push towards that 1450. But my main hypothesis is we chop around in this zone and test the 1975 on the open or the 1675, and a break of those two numbers is where I would enter my first trade. Inside of here, you really got nothing to lean against, so be very careful. Okay, let's go over to the Russell. So we're right back down here, and I kept on telling everybody, if we didn't hold this 31 40 area, it's been moving, the CLVN's been moving from 3140 to 3190, but it's still the same area. We've got the the major magnet below us at 21. I said if we couldn't hold that, we're going to come down and look for responsive buyers down here at the composite VPOC and the former microcomposite VPOC. And here we are trading in around this 21. So we're actually have a triple distribution zone from yesterday. We're in the lower distribution from the prior day, and we're just going to chop in around this zone. The key level you want to watch on the Russell today is the 1770, because if we get below this 1770, then the big number below us is going to be this 1460 to 1360 area down here. And this is a pretty blunt area with a lot of undetermined fair value on the composite, and I really think it's going to be quite choppy. The key, below 17, look for the 1460 area, 1360 with a rotation down towards this 1109 area. And then if we break 1109, the big number, I think we come down and we test that 1103.80, but I think it's really going to come down and test this 1101. So the way I would set this up is you've got this LVN and the CLVN at 1770. So that would be a key trade area. Below that, look to get short towards the 1670 with the likelihood of coming down towards what will be a test of the range low at 16. And you've got that that V bottom at 16, but the big target, I'm going to use the 1460 because it's the microcomposite VPOC, but there's the 1360 just below it, with the other side of that balance and a key line which will be the 0960, and then below 0960 you've got your first target down at 750, and the key we want to hold, and there's not much else there, is the 1103.30, or sorry, 1103.80. And the big number below that is 1101.10. How can you have 1101.01, sorry. And then, of course, you've got, a big key number, which is the 1100s below us. And then there's really not much below that until we get all the way down here to this 9610. And now I'm going out a little bit far for the ATRs, but you got to prepare for, I'm sorry, I did the same thing. It's 110610. All right, and so that takes care of the lower side. I know I went out a little bit far. Now, if we hold the 17, look for rotation, and the main target inside of range is going to be that microcomposite VPOC and the composite VPOC at 2112 or 2120. That's your major magnet right now. But you do have a bit of resistance here at the value area low at 1120. In fact, I would use that as a trade area. If you get long off the 17, 70, and you want to add on to this, this would be a good place to add if we break inside of this value, because then you've got a nice strong move up to the main target inside and the composite at 1121. And it is going to act as a magnet. So I'm thinking that the key trade area is the 1775 to get long. If we hold, get short if we break, but you can accelerate through 20 and a quarter up towards 21, and then we've got the a LVN right here at this just above it at 22. So I'd be watching this area as possibility of responsive selling stepping in, but if we get above that, then you get a nice strong move to take out the naked close at 2340 and the naked VPOC at 2470. I forgot to put my overnights in, so let me just do that ETF Globex. All right, so overnight we've got 2460. So that is just below the naked VPOC, and 1760. Which is just below this key CLVN. So if they hold below this this 20 and a quarter, and they're chopping around, look for them to test the 1770 and take out this 1760 overnight low, and then you could look for a move down towards the 16 area again, and then our targets below. Once you're in the upper distribution, if we take out the overnight high, you're inside of value. Look for a value area play here. The overnight VPOC is right there, right near the overnight high too, at 24. And then really there's nothing above us until we get to this 2720 microcomposite value area high, but it's really, I'm going to be watching the range high at 2880 with acceleration and possible resistance at 2650, the value area, and that's just a straight value area play. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at in the Russell. Again, use the 1770 area to either get short or long, or rejection of the 20 and a quarter to get short, or break above to get long. And targets above are 21 and a quarter. Targets below are the 16, and below that the 1450 and 1350. Going over to gold. We finally had a big breakdown in gold. We were looking for a move down towards that 41. We came down to the 41, and found some balance here. Let me put a profile in here. So the current balance is sitting here at 1245.10. We're trading 1246. This is no longer going to be valid. Take that out. This is no longer valid. Take that out. Span this out. And really, we've got a distribution zone right now, and the key resistance above us is going to be this 50.70. It's the CLVN, and it's just above the 3-day microcomposite. I'm sorry, just below. Come on. I don't know what's going on with my buttons lately. Not letting me push them. So you got the CLVN at 50.80 and the range at 51, but it's 50.80 that I'm watching. Inside of this is just this is just going to be chop zone. So I really don't think gold is a good trade right now in this level. I'd wait for a breakout above this 50. It's actually going to be a little bit lower, 50.75, and a move up towards 51 and 54. But if we hold inside of this, you've got the value area high here at 1247, with the VPOC at 45, and then the value area low at 4360. 4180, I still think we're just going to chop between this 45, 46 area and 41 if we don't get a move up towards this 50.75. The key number below us, if you remember, 1237.75 or 1237.70 was a key area. It's been shifted up to 38.70. Below that, look for a move down towards 33.80, and the big number below us is at 11.27. This is not valid anymore either, so get rid of that. So I mean, it's to me, stay out of gold today. It's a dangerous widowmaker, and there's really not much to go by against the composite or against the microcomposite. And I looked at the daily earlier, and it's just as ugly. So to me, it's stay on the sidelines for gold, and I'll be just focusing on the other indices. Anyway, it's 9:26. That's going to create complete our morning market session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we will catch you on the flip side. All right, let me get these charts out for you guys.